We just did that.
You do that, the cemetery.
Nantucket Cemetery Commission.
I'll make a motion to put them in.
For a second.
Second,
Second.
All right, all in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Next is Remain on behalf of the Folger Block Condominium Trust.
I'll make a motion to leave them in.
Second,
Second.
second. All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
How vote aye now?
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and Diane Coombs.
Aye.
The next is the Town of Nantucket Preservation Institute Main Streetscapes Assessment.
I'll leave a motion to leave them in also.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
No,
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
the chair votes aye. Next is the Nantucket Preservation Institute West Monomoy Neighborhood Survey.
No, we just did that.
no, we did the streetscapes.
Did the Main
Oh,
Street.
we voted on that twice. All right. I'll make a motion to leave the survey in.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
You missed
Next.
me. I'll vote aye.
I'm sorry, Linda. Next is the Nantucket Community Service Landmark House.
I'll make a motion to leave them in.
Is there a second?
Second,
Aye.
Okay, votes Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and Diane,
Aye.
and chair votes aye.
And I
Next.
vote aye also.
Sorry, Linda. I need to keep checking the bottom of my screen. Next is the St. Mary of our Isle restoration of St. Mary's Church.
I'll make a motion to leave that in.
Is there a second?
Second.
Aye.
Right. All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor?
I'm a parishioner, so I don't know if people feel that I should
Yes.
recuse.
Yeah, you
Yeah, you can vote.
You can vote.
We've all been parishioners of events, all the churches that have come in.
Right,
We've all been to the Athenaeum.
right. Your vote is aye or nay?
Aye, aye.
Joe,
I'm a parishioner and I'm aye.
Tom,
Aye. Bless you, Joe.
Linda,
Hey, what about me?
Aye. Eleanor,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
I think Mark thinks I need more protection, more safety.
there was a second one for St. Mary of the Isle. The
I'll make a
restoration.
motion to leave that one in also.
Second.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Next is the Nantucket Historical Association, the Barney Oil and Candle Factory Masonry Restoration. Is
I'll
there
make a motion to leave that one in.
a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
You need to go get some water after having to repeat all this every single time?
Next is the Nantucket Historical Association Restoration of the Old Mill.
I'll make a motion to leave that in.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Next one, South Church.
Yeah. Sure. South Church. Is there?
I'll make a motion to leave that one in.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. What else do we have?
Interfaith.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Give me a glass of water. Okay, the Nantucket Interfaith Council.
I'll make a motion to leave them in.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Recuse as I am an employee of the Interfaith Council.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. And, excuse me. And the next is affordable housing, the Nantucket Interfaith Council.
We just did that one.
You just did that. Is there-
It's the racket club, and I'll make a motion for discussion. I'll make a motion to leave in for the discussion. Period.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr.
Second.
Chairman,
Yeah,
aren't all these for discussion?
yes.
Yes.
If there was a
So no-
discussion, yeah, when we get
so
to the
there's no-
funding allocations.
So there's no need to make a motion to discussion. It's a motion to leave it in.
Well, I don't want to leave it in, which is why I made a motion for the discussion purposes. And it has to be seconded, and then we make a motion if it's in or out. Because
So you wanna
I'm not
make-
going to vote for that.
So you don't want to leave it in.
No,
No,
but that's why I made the
Why
motion
not?
for discussion purposes and it has to get seconded and then we can discuss it.
Okay.
no,
Mr.
Neville's got a,
Mr. Chairman, was there a second on the motion for discussion?
not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So you're waiting for a
There's
second.
Well, wait a minute.
Somebody-
Mr. Chairman,
Tim,
this isn't the time for discussion. This is the time whether they're just in or out, right?
Well, you got to discuss whether it's in or out because some of us may want it in, some of us may want it out. And that's where the rubber meets the road on this one.
Well, Linda, I feel that way about some of the others as well, but I figured the best thing to do is put them in and then we can decide whether they're funded at zero or funded at some other amount.
All right, if that's what you want to do, but I'm not going to vote in favor of it.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Neville,
Mr. Chairman, all we are voting on is whether they stay in or stay out. When they
That
come
is
back,
correct.
we will do the discussion. We're
That
not
is-
voting on discussion at all.
that is correct.
All right, I'll make a
So-
motion that they're out then, and which I'd rather not do.
Well, you need a second on that, right?
Yes, need a second.
On
Hearing
the
none.
motion, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Tim, could I just make a suggestion to my friend Linda and just say, Linda, I think that the best way so the minutes reflect, I think what you're hoping to do, why don't you make a motion to leave it in, and then we can fund it at a level that would reflect your concern.
Well, we have done that before. We've had them in and then we funded them at 0. So they were on the record. We've done that before.
Well, that
So I'll
would be
withdraw
good
my
now.
motion. Someone else needs to make the motion to leave it in.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Neville.
We are having a discussion on something and there was no second. So if there's no second, then you gotta wait for someone else has to make a motion.
Right.
If
I
that's
withdrew
the
my
case,
motion.
I'll make a motion to keep it in. I'm looking for a second.
Second,
Seconded, but, right. Okay, roll call. Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
This is a land bank owned property. I may need to recuse.
you just have to disclose.
This is
No,
land
she
bank owned
has, she gets
property.
paid by the land bank. She gets paid by the land bank.
Oh,
That's not, that's a
sorry,
recusal.
Sorry. Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Recuse as I am president of the board of the NRSA.
Linda,
No.
Diane,
aye.
it stays in. And the chair votes aye. Okay,
One more,
I'll make a motion on the Linda Loring to stay in.
second,
thank you. Is there a second?
second,
Neville seconded.
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and
Diane?
Diane, aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Okay, you want the rundown on the money?
Ken, I have a question before we go on.
Yes, Mark,
I'm kind of confused about what we just did. If we're gonna, if we have a history and we do every year the same thing, we vote them all in. Why don't we vote them in as a block and certain people can be excused from certain votes? But I think it seemed like an awful long time to just sit there and vote every one if we're gonna vote them all in and then discuss.
Well,
I mean, I
that's
think
what
they should all
Mr.
be-
Yeah, that's what that was my complaint, because normally if we get to one, we had a couple over the last years that didn't qualify for one reason or another, they don't qualify for CPC funding. And when we went through this exercise one at a time, we didn't vote them in. And I understand what Mark's saying.
Well, in that case, Ken, if someone is not qualified, it shouldn't get this far. Glenna and you should pick them off and say, wait a minute, we can't even accept the application because you don't qualify for funding.
Now they have to accept them. We just vote them out.
If
The
don't
staff
qualify,
can't make
we don't-
that
I mean, if
decision.
I apply to fix my house, you gonna accept that one?
Well, the staff can't make that decision. We have to make it at a meeting under an open meeting law. I know it's cumbersome.
All right, I give up.
Good try.
Bless you,
Neville,
Mark.
The
Bless
the
you.
vice chair, let's to the vice chair through you,
Valiant effort.
Mr. Chairman. Do you know
Yes,
why
no.
they are not qualified, Mr. Vice Chair? Through the chairman?
They all
Well,
qualify.
they've got to meet certain basic qualifications, 501c3 or the town of Nantucket. I mean, there's some
and they haven't
basic
done that.
qualifications.
And they haven't done that?
No, there's nobody on here that doesn't qualify this year. I was just saying that in the past, that's happened.
everyone that's on the list this year was able to qualify.
That's my point, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Thanks.
This information.
Do you want the rundown on the cheat sheet?
yes, please.
All right, we get money from several different places. We've underestimated the last couple of years on interest in the 30s, and we get 155,000. So I'm not gonna bore you with all the little minutia that Mark and I went through with Brian. Allocate 175 at the moment because we don't have the actual fine. We know what we're getting, but we don't have it sent down officially from the state, and probably until next week. He said allocate 175,000 off the top of the just over 4 million for administrative, which in Brian's opinion leaves us about 3,875,000 to play with. For which he estimated to be about 405,000 for the 10% for all three of them. 405 for open space recreation, 405 for housing, and 405 for historic preservation. So that works out. He said that we can allocate that 3,875 pretty safely. If it adjusts later on, we have enough time between now and the selectmen put it in to adjust if we have to. But he doesn't think there's anything less than that to work with. He said we have in reserves almost $1 million. So when he gave me that $5 million figure last month, it was that was the total with our reserves. In the line items themselves, open space, there's only $13.67 left. Historic preservation is only $5,400 left. And in housing, there's $91.50.
How is the open space have just $13 when we didn't do anything last year? Doesn't it roll over? If it's unallocated in a previous fiscal year? Or did I?
10% was used for something. Or
Well,
whatever it
maybe-
was. I don't have the list in front of me right now for that.
Okay. So
Can you
$13,
give
can
me-
you repeat that, please? 13 something? I'm writing this down.
It's open space recreation, he says there's $13.67. Historic preservation is 5,400. Maybe a change in there. And housing is $91.50.
Linda,
Yeah, well,
these are projects that are unfinished so far and not been billed out through the town. Is that right?
No, these are just the balances left. Because we normally, if we don't get a lot, like Eleanor said, if we don't get an open space allocation, we have to put in the 400,000. So whatever was in there has been spent. Now, as far as what's still outstanding out there, some of it goes back, I believe, to 2006 or 2009. Kathy was putting together a list from the office's side as to what balances are left in the projects that we've had over the last, 20 years. And Brian's putting together his list of what his computer shows is left in some of these balances, because I know at least a couple of them don't match. So what he asked me to do is get the list from Kathy when she and Glenna put it together in the office, come back and sit down with him for a couple of hours and go through them one at a time. And then I will know how much we have to put in the second warrant article, which is let's get it back. But after we justify Kathy and Glenna's list versus what he's got in the computer on each one of these projects, then we have to call every one of them to find out if they're still going, like the cemetery is still going. Or if they're done, like the hose cart house still has money there. The hose cart is done. We know that's done. Then we have to call every one of these applicants and ask them to send us an email that they're willing to release the funding back to us. And Brian has no problem with that. So that's a lengthy process, but we're working our way through it, because I went through it a little bit with Brian last month and we talked about it with Mark last week. So
And
that's
the
where we are at the
procedure
moment.
That's the procedure we have done every year in the
Yeah.
past.
So we have time to wade through that, and we have time to wait for the final confirmed figure from the state. But we know what the revenues are, and we know what the percentage was, and we know what we have for interest, which is 4 times what we allocated for interest before. So, and the administrative is 10%. Is it 5%? I forget what it is of the total. And yeah. And so he said it was about 175,000 for it. So that's, anybody have any questions about this stuff?
Yes, I do.
Neville.
Yeah, the amounts that you gave us, historic preservation, what we have right now, based on the information that we have for funding right now, In historic preservation, we have 405,000. In affordable housing, 405,000. And open space, 405,000. Is that what you said?
No, what I said is that you have to spend that based on the 4,050,000. We have to spend 405 in each one of those categories. And if we don't have enough in like affordable housing here, it's less than the 405, then the extra 105, give or take, goes into housing reserves for next year, which is what Eleanor was referring to with the open space, but we don't have any. I will, Eleanor, just for jollies, I will double check that open space allocation from last year.
But we can spend more than 405,000. That's just the limit.
Oh, yeah, that's just the
But
minimum we have to
that's the
put in
floor.
each one of these categories, 10% of the total in each one of these categories.
Minimum, got it.
Yeah, minimum.
How much money are we working with this year?
3,875,000 is what he says
825,
after
Linda.
we,
3 million, hold on,
Hmm?
hold on, just one person at a time, please. It's
3
3
million,
million? Yes.
875.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because the 50.
Is
And
that
that's
it?
after we take the 175 out for
For
administration.
administration. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the figure we're working with, 3,875,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
And as I say, it may adjust, but we have time because the selectmen don't do their thing until January. So we may have time to adjust it and revisit some of this depending on if we get more money back from the state. Otherwise, that just goes into undesignated reserves, which is about a little over 900,000 in that account. And we always try to put some money in there every year if there's any money left over. Last year, we had what, 5 applicants and that's it?
Right.
So Linda, just to be clear, the 3.8 million, that is after the admin cost has already come out?
Yes.
And not
Because
including
it's
it.
just over 4 million, more 4,050,000, I think that what the total is right now.
Perfect.
And that does
Thank-
not include the 155 in interest, or does it?
Yes, it includes all of it. Oh, yes, and that's the biggest issue. We are ahead on the bonds. We don't have to take any money out this year to service the bonds. We're 2 years ahead on one of the bonds. These are both affordable housing bonds. The other 2 have been paid off. And what he's been doing, he's been paying them down. So when they ultimately come due, we owe less than the 5 million on each one of them. So he said that we don't have to do anything with one of them for 2 FYs. And we don't have to do anything with the other one this year at all. Next year, be prepared to take the 350 out a piece unless something changes. One bond has been exercised. The second bond of 5 million has not been touched. So he's sort of, moving things around here. But he said that is our biggest issue, is that we don't have to take the 700,000, 350 each out this year. And we won't have to take one of them out next year, but we'll have to take the other one out next year at 350. So that's why we have a benefit this year of being able to fund almost everybody.
Linda, Mr. Chair, if I could,
Yes, sure, Tim.
any movement of money around by Brian on bond payments or whatever, shouldn't that all be a board vote?
No. Once it goes to the bond, Brian has absolute total control over that. We're the ones that have to put the money into that account to service the bond. But as they haven't pulled one bond yet, and he's not sure when that's going to happen, and the other one has been pulled, but we always put, every year we've been putting 350 into sort of a account.
Yep.
And he's been buying that down, but we're ahead 2 years on one and ahead a year on the other one. We don't need to do anything this year, but he said, be prepared to do at least one of them next year.
Remember, just because we have it doesn't mean we have to do anything with the money.
Right. So he says, you're in a pretty good position this year. And plus we got more money back because of the real estate transactions and whatnot. And he said that may be the case again next year. But the problem is that Boston's coming in and they're having to readjust things up at the state, because the more people come into the CPC, vote to make the CPC, the more the money has to spread out. Because when we first started 20 years ago, we got 100% back. They
Correct.
started dropping, and I think we're maybe 20% now, something along those lines.
Somewhere in that area, and that will continue to decline as everybody else wakes up to the thing that we discovered 20 years ago.
What may also happen is a supplemental, she's all into housing, but not as much as the previous governor. They may get supplemental funding. They may split out Springfield and Boston into their own, so they're not drastically affecting everybody else. Because when Springfield came in, that affected us really. We went down, I think, 50%. And now Boston's going to do their thing, and that's going to drop everybody. So they realize that the big cities are going to negatively impact all the little cities all over the rest of the state. So there's been some talk up at the coalition about trying to deal with that aspect of it.
Is that a legislative matter? Is that something where we need to lobby, rally? get in
When
touch
they
with our
do, when the
reps?
coalition does go to the legislature for supplemental funding and stuff, as Tom knows, they do get a hold of all the local CPCs to write letters in and support that position. So that's happened over the years. I haven't seen one lately though, but that's
It's gonna
happened
be a
over the
letter
years.
if we need to do
When,
anything.
when we've been involved, we've been successful in terms of supporting the local positions.
Okay.
We're one of the oldest ones in the state, one of the first three, I think, and we've been the most active and the most varied in our projects. When you look at, I did research on this some years ago, looked at all the CPCs in the state and what they spent money on and stuff, and their housing trusts. And we definitely have more varied and more active projects than any other place in the state. So we've done very well. We're like the crown jewel for the coalition.
Neville?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with all due respect to everybody and the discussion we're having right now, what I want to know is this. I know we don't have a figure yet from the state. We don't know. On the figure that we have here, is this based on our 3% taxes, our local taxes, am I correct? The
Not just that.
3,875,000.
He knows what the revenue, he does know what the revenue was. He knows what the interest payment was. He knows there's another thing from the state here that he knows pretty well. It's very close. They just have to be ratified by the state. So he's positive that we have that at a minimum to work with.
You're talking about the percentage that we will be getting.
No, he knows the percentage. He knows what the revenues were. He needs that certified by the state. So he
Right,
said at a
okay.
minimum it's over 4 million. And at a minimum, we have 3,875 to spend safely
Okay.
at the moment.
Now, based on the 3,875, will someone just remind me, what is the percentage that goes into each one of these, the three different categories? We don't need to deal
It's
with
It's 10%, and he said it's $405 for each one of those three.
so
Minimum.
that leaves
405,000.
405,000 only gives us a million something, doesn't it?
$1 million too.
405,000 into open space, 405,000 into affordable housing, 405,000 into
That's a
escapes
total
me
of
at the
$1 million
moment.
too.
Historic
And
preservation
you total
at a
that up.
minimum. At a minimum.
Minimum. That's the key word.
Ken, let me jump in
10%.
here for a minute. Maybe I can help Neville here.
Yes, please.
Neville, it's 10% of the 4 million plus a little bit for each of the three categories. That's why it's 405. It's 10% of the 4 million and small change that we get total. And then we take out the administrative costs, but it's still based upon the overall income we're getting, which is 4 million plus. And then take 10% of that for each category, which was 405,000 that we must allocate for each of the categories. Does that help you?
No, I understand about the administration. What I am saying is, can someone add up the 405 out of those three categories and multiply it by 3 and tell me what you come up with, please?
About 1,300,000.
My math is bad.
1,200,015.
Say it again, please.
1,200,015.
through you, Mr. Chairman, that's my point. That's all I'm saying. Are we going to have a discussion or talk about these projects based on the 3,875,000, having 3,875,000 to work with, or are we gonna do it based on that $1 million figure?
What?
I see what you're saying, and
Well,
I'm wondering the same thing. I understand. He's asking, the total right now being asked for is 4 million, 4.48, et cetera. If we have a total of 3.875 to disperse over and above the minimal 10% that we have to allocate to each category, can we use the 3.875 in total?
Absolutely, that's the whole purpose.
Yes,
That's the whole purpose.
it includes the
clarifying.
1.2.
He's
It
just
includes the
clarifying.
1.2. Obviously, we're gonna have some overages in at least the affordable housing one. We're gonna have an extra 100 and something we have to put into housing reserve, clear, yes. But the 3,875, out of that 3,875, 405 goes to each one of the three. So clearly, we're going to have an overage in affordable housing. And depending on what we do with open space, we may have a lot over or way under, you know what I'm saying? That's the question for me personally is in the open space. We may have to put quite a lot into open space reserves if we don't fund the million out of there. So yes, you got to sort of take those 405, stick them in each category. Clearly the 405 is going to be used in historic preservation. We're going to be way past that. Ken, I think Tom's hand is up.
Yeah, I just saw it. Tom?
Yes, Mr. Chair, would it be possible, if appropriate, to ask CPC staff to prepare a high-level document that lays out all these numbers that denotes that they are subject to ratification or approval by the state, working with the finance office through the town?
Agreed. I
I'll
like
have to
that.
give him those figures.
Yeah. We don't have any staff.
What do you mean?
No, we don't have staff to do that.
That's why they sent me in to do it, Tom. I will put it in a Word document, I guess, that will explain it better.
Yeah,
they
I'm still
can't do
waiting
that?
for him to give it to me.
See, CPC doesn't have staff?
You have two
They
staff.
don't go talk to him. We do.
Uh,
Kathy's putting together what she has in the office, which I have to reconcile with Tom, with Brian. That's where on that, how much money is going to come back to us. And they can't do anything more than Brian does right now because he doesn't have that actual certification from the state yet.
Tom, I think I can help. In the past, the role of determining how much money is available for the CPC committee to work with every year has always been a function of the chair and finance director. This year, I think our chair was looking for a little help. That's why Linda, as the former vice chair, and Mark, as the new vice chair, jumped in to help out.
And he designated that we do that.
yeah.
So this is pretty standard.
Neville, you.
Yes, I don't mean to be a thorn in everybody's side, but in the past, we got these figures. And when we got these figures, like I would write it down on a piece of paper under the categories that we have, even administration. We would know what we have for administration. We would know how much money we are working with. How much money are we working with for affordable housing? The figure may not be a concrete figure, but we'll get a roundabout figure that we are working with. So when we are looking to fund these items and we are discussing it, we will know, okay, we don't have enough money to fund this, so we can gear how we fund all the items that we have. That's what has happened in the past. This is with, even when we had 20-something odd different projects.
And that's what I presented earlier, and I will put it in writing as
What-
Tom asked. And so it's more clear than trying to explain the minutia here. But I just explained that.
What I am getting right now, I mean, this should have, in my opinion, with all due respect, this conversation should have ended a long time ago. We should just say, okay, this is the money we got, guys. Okay, I'm just going to throw out a figure because I know it's wrong. We got $3,875,000 to deal with. Okay, let's divvy it up, whatever it is, the percentage between each project. And this is what we have. Okay, which one are we gonna work with first? Let's go to historic preservation. We have this, we have that. Let's deal with that now and see where we are. And then we go to the next one and the next one. This is
I will
very,
put
very
that in
convoluted
writing.
this time.
But it's not convoluted. I put it in writing and send it to the staff, and then they can send it out to everybody else. Exactly what we've talked about. And hopefully by then, Brian will have the that certified number from the state.
Now,
Yeah, I don't mean to speak out of turn. I want to, because what that does for me, sitting here right now, when I am ready to discuss these items and start seeing what we can fund them with, and maybe in the first round, we might fund the first one, $10,000, but then as we are going through, we might be funded more, take it back. We can't even do that. We cannot do that right now. We can't
Ken,
do
you're
that. So
muted.
there's no, what we are sitting here, what we came together to do today was to look over all these projects, talk about them earnestly and see what can we fund based on the interviews that we've had with the clients, etc. What can we potentially, how much money can we potentially give to this project? I think that's what we're supposed to be doing right now, based on the information we have from the
no,
finance.
that was not, with all due respect, that was not the plan for today.
Uh-huh.
The plan for today was to, in fact, take a look at the various applications and answer any questions that anyone might have with respect to them, so that when we're in a position to start to think about funding, we have the information necessary for each of us in terms of making a decision relative to funding.
Okay. I understand that.
Well, now that you have a figure, it might be easier for everybody to sort of figure out how they want to allocate stuff, especially when you got to put up 405 in each one of these categories. So that it helps everybody sort of drill down on what they want to fund fully, what they can't fund fully. What money has to come out of historic preservation in order to put the 405 into, one of the other two categories, et cetera, et cetera. So that gives you some place to start.
What you can do is start thinking about it, because the meeting next week is when we're going to be making the allocation of the amounts of money that we're going to go into each of the funding requests.
I understand that. I'm sorry.
Do we have the dates for next week for solidified with people so I can put it in here?
Is everyone okay with November 14th?
The question is whether or not everyone is okay November 14th from 9 to 11.
Yes, I am right now. You want to go through the list? I'm fine. Neville is fine.
Ronnie, you got my calendar?
I'm good.
I don't see anybody indicating that they have any problems with it. So we will move forward with that. And I'll have Ben again.
That's 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, 9 o'clock. 9 to 11.
Do we have a potential date after that one?
No, we have not scheduled anything after that one. Hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted out that day.
Okay.
If there are any, sorry, if there are not any other issues, I would entertain a motion to adjourn today, and that we reconvene as we've just spoken about next week.
I'll make that motion.
Neville, you had your hand up.
No, I'll wait for a second because I want to discuss.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All those
Okay.
in favor, Mark?
I want a discussion.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Going forward, I would appreciate it if I could hear, if it's possible to do now, because I'm going forward, what Linda has to say on the racket sports club, I'd like to know, please, because that'll help me out.
Well, we've already made a motion to adjourn. I can't do that
No,
now.
we didn't we made a motion to
Yeah, we did.
adjourn. We had a second.
Yeah, but that's not discussion. To adjourn is not discussion as to what
Okay,
my
that's
concerns
fine.
are with the
Okay, so
racket
then,
club.
all
I'm
right.
not gonna do that. So you're gonna take a roll call on the adjournment, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, there's a motion to adjourn. I will need to do a roll call. Those in favor of the motion, voting to adjourn, Mark,
No, I want to hear Neville's comments.
okay, Neville,
We can't. It's a
No.
motion to, I'm gonna make, it's an
No.
open meeting law violation. There's a
No.
motion on the table just simply to adjourn, not to discuss the merits of a case. You can't do that
Then,
unless unless Tim withdraws his
Please,
second
don't
and
speak
I
out of
withdraw my
turn,
motion.
please. Excuse me, Mr.
I'm
Chairman.
gonna file an open meeting law complaint if that happens.
Wait. It doesn't have to be
That's
this.
too good.
Wait. Everybody just vote no on the motion. Then we'll be back to our meeting and
Thank
we
you.
can talk.
No, you
Thank
can withdraw your second and I'll withdraw my motion.
Tim, you gotta withdraw your second.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Well, you get to the same place if you vote not to adjourn, but I'll do
Well,
whatever
why
you
would-
want.
Just
I'll
withdraw your motion
I'll withdraw my second.
and I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
where are we now?
So what now?
Mr. Chairman,
Neville,
as I was saying, I would like to hear Linda's objection to the item number 15, the Racket Sports Association, her objection to that because it might help me.
I
I didn't know we were discussing these
turning
individually.
it back on?
Not yet.
Okay.
to see if there's any leak around there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm not comfortable doing that here because that's not what we were supposed to be doing here. I just think that we've given them enough money right now. We have a lot of other things that we can fund fully. And I think we've given them enough money right now. That's just my opinion. For now, I didn't say they can't come back next year, but I think enough is enough for right now. They've done a very good job doing what they're doing right now. And I appreciate it. And you can't even get a membership out there because I think the land bank has sort of put a temporary hold on anybody else because it's so popular. But I can't do that again this year. We've given them a lot of money so far, and I think we just need to sit with it for a bit. That's, my initial take on this. But that's just me. I love pickleball. I think it's great. Especially for us all who are old.
Careful.
Neville,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
yes,
through you, I would like to tell Linda that I appreciate that, because I felt the same way as she felt. But I just wanted to hear, because when I make a decision, I don't want us to be going through and re-litigating all of this stuff when we get together at our next session. We should be really concentrating on the monies. But if we get a lot of this other minutia out of the way, it'll be really great. Mr. Chairman, through you again.
Yeah.
There was one item that I voted no on, and I would like to tell the members why I voted no, if you don't mind.
I wouldn't mind hearing why I voted no.
Okay, that was on the Main Street Seascapes assessment. I still feel that this is an item that can be done through the town at the DPW level. The town can get their funding, their DPW funding, to go in and fix the sidewalks up there. I think that is their function. Rather than coming to us for the money, I think they can go to the town for the money. I would like to see them go to the town for the money, and if the town refuses to give them the money, then they can come to us. But I don't think that will happen, because I think it's in the town's interest that these sidewalks get straightened out as well. And it involves so many other things like the electrical wiring, the plumbing, and all that stuff that goes underneath the ground. So I think
Linda,
this is
sorry, Linda, your hand is up. Sorry, Neville.
I don't
Yes.
want to get into an in-depth, into the weeds on these, but the reason why it's here is because it's the historic preservation survey part of it. not the physical doing it. The DPW is not qualified to go street by street and look at the historic aspect of what kind of bricks, what kind of lighting fixtures, what kind of benches, what kind of this, what kind of that. This was an agreement I had made when I was chairman of the HDC years ago with Kara, and she violated and ignored it. So the DPW is physically does the work, but the historic assessment of the streets, their widths, their everything else, the type of curbing, Asher cut or not, that kind of thing is outside what the DPW has the expertise to do. And that's what that survey means, is the historic streetscapes, particularly in the core district downtown, an area of critical concern, not the actual physical part of it. So yes, the physical part of it's going to have to come through the town, budget, capital programs and all that stuff, and out of their budget, but not this aspect of it. That's the difference between what this project is and what the project isn't.
Tim, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to circle back to the open space discussion that Neville raised with regard to the Racket Club. And Neville, I just wanted, if we're having kind of a back of the envelope discussion to get our mindset thinking for the next meeting, I would suggest a thought for you and anyone else that might agree with this. We have to spend 405,000, as we heard, the 10% in open space. So we could fund the Racket Club at a much lower number, say 305,000, and the Linda Loring, that meets our requirement in open space. By doing that, we lower the ask down to almost being able to fund every single project on the list. So that might be another way for you to think about it. And it takes any strife away unless there's some philosophical reason somebody wants to object to a project. But we're in a really sweet spot here. And we might be able to have our cake and eat it too.
Mark, and then Eleanor.
Yes, thank you, Ken. No, to get back to the streetscape issue, the Historic Preservation Committee is not going to be doing the actual survey, I've got a feeling. They would hire it out. And if you recall at the last hearing when this was being discussed by the applicant, I raised the issue of shouldn't it be the town's job? And they said, well, it's all about historic preservation. I agree. We live in a historic town. The town should be responsible for preserving the historic features of our town that are public ways. And that's a public way. So I objected to that. I didn't object to it. I asked them why the town couldn't do it themselves. And they answered that it was just easier to do it because this was historic preservation. Well, the town can hire historic preservation just as well as historic committee can. So the DPW is not going to do it no matter what. They're going to hire an expert, or historic preservation is going to hire an expert. And I think, sorry, Tom Dixon, I think the town should be hiring an expert to survey our very historic Main Street and figure out what's best for us to do.
Eleanor?
I want to know if it's appropriate for me to, I will not be voting on the open space and recreation application of the NRSA, but is it appropriate for me to make a comment?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd like to rebut what has been said by other people regarding this. We gave nothing to open space last year because there were no applications, which is a shame. I have very detailed knowledge of the NRSA project. I'm very involved with it. So that being said right up front, but it's all relative. I mean, we've funded NISDA year after year. We fund these churches year after year after year. Year after year, they come back and it's, well, we got to keep funding them because we've already put so much money into it. This is a project that has now expanded. They need additional money because they're going to be expanding it one-off. It's probably going to be done in phases, but it's one-off. It's going to be done. Beautiful parking, safe lighting, etc. It's a beautiful design. And we're at the beginning stages of it with schematics and design, and the build out is going to cost more than the $980 they originally got. That's the reality of it, because they've amended their design and concept plans so that they can accommodate some additional membership, have safe circulation, and etc., and upgrade everything. So I just want to say I understand we can limit it to 405 and divvy it out as we see fit or not. I don't necessarily think we should look at it that way. So I hope you will be open-minded about this particular application.
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying that I won't consider what Tim said. I think that makes sense, because why put it into reserve if some of it can be used towards their project? But we have a lot of projects, as you just said, that spread out over several years, because we can't, I mean, the Methodist Church took us maybe 12 years to get through that, the Congo.
I know, but
It's not
you're
atypical.
reinforcing my point, Linda. This is the thing.
Yeah.
We give so much money to historic preservation in addition to affordable housing, which we also do with our own taxes. What's out there for open space and recreation in terms of grants and funding? Nothing. It's the CPC. That's it.
Tom and then Neville.
Yes, Mr. Chair, not commenting on the merits of this project. Again, I am recused from this as I am president of the board, but just one clarification on what we've done on membership and access to the NRSA itself. We have, the NRSA board has currently frozen our membership because we grew so fast because of the pandemic and the advent of pickleball and more people playing and getting out there, which is all wonderful. And part of the reason why we froze membership was to guarantee guest access, and members of the public would still have access to the courts to be able to play. So it is kind of a complicated deliberation in that, but it was really for the benefit of the community at large, is the reason why we froze it. Thank you.
Neville?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'd like to comment on several things. It took me a while to realize you're talking about the NRSA, the sports and racket. And then something that my other fellow commissioner was speaking of. Open space was one of our biggest funding sources when we started. We funded everything for open space. That's how you got the Parks and Tom Nevers. That's how you got the racket club. That's how you got the field and nobody a field. We were spending money in open space like crazy, like Linda Loring. We can just go all over the island. We can go down to Jetty's Beach. We put in parks. You know, the thing that you may not know, that CPC, we don't do it, but we had an organization we can do it through, can actually get land, build a park. We can build houses. But we were funding nothing but open space. So the assumption that we don't spend a lot of open space is kind of incorrect. Excuse me?
No, my computer just went bonkers here.
I don't mind in terms about, I love this discussion and I think it's going to help us. I like what you said, Tim. I agree with that. The reason why also the vice chair made a comment that I totally agree with. The Main Street Seascapes, the young lady that came very, very well, she is, I believe, the preservation planner for the town. So that was my suggestion, that she can go to the town and ask them for funds to do this research, that they're going to hire 3 different people or 4 different people to look at different aspects of this, to come up with some kind of overall views of this for this project. If she doesn't get it from the town, then she can come to us. That is almost one of the main reasons why CPC, the CPA was founded. It was a citizens article. Things that, and most of the towns that have this, they're doing projects that the town either can't afford to do right now, or they don't. So the citizen says, okay, I will give you my 1%, 2%, 3% from my taxes to go towards this project. So what we are doing is based on a citizen's article. We are doing things that the town can do. All I was saying was, can she go to the town, since she is the preservation planner for the town, and which I think is a very good job, to see if the town will give her the funding to do this project. But it's not really a lot of money. It's $50,000. If they can give her that money to do that project, because I personally think it is a town project. If the town doesn't have the funds to fund her, then she comes back to us. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. But in terms of open space, yeah, we've always funded open space. We're not closed off to open space. We have actually had different categories where we had no funding for, we leave the money in. We have had, I mean, I can tell you some other history that goes way back. We've had monies that the town has kept for us and we lost. You know, but now we got, I don't think that happens anymore. But we've gone through a lot. We are, and Linda is right, we are one of the oldest. We actually had other towns looking at the models that we set. And when we had the people come down, they said, like, you get the money, you spend the money on the project that you have to spend it on. If it changes, the people come in. The other thing that we were talking about in terms of money is going back, it's up, you know, like we had a thing here with our committee here, with the CPC, whereas the project managers will go to all their projects, look at all their projects, look at all the monies that's left over. Around this time, Ken used to tell us, okay, why don't you go to your projects, look at the monies that you have and see if they want to give that money back. And if they do, let them send a letter. And then we take the letter and we give it to Ken, and Ken puts it in the article. And that's how we get money coming back. So I know I just gave you a lot of information, but I try to, thank you.
Linda?
I don't even know where to start, but we weren't supposed to get into this kind of an in-depth conversation about these things until we go to the allocations. But
Right.
again, this is a very specific thing that can't be done in the town. Usually we hire consultants. As Tom knows, they have a contract to review the HCC process and all these other things going on. It's sort of a collaboration with PIN, and it's something that has to be done. And the town, if we don't fund it now, so the money becomes available on July 1, they're out 2 years. And some of this is related to how the town is going to fix the sidewalks and the curbing and the lighting and stuff like that. And they can't wait 2 years to do that. And these surveys take some time and they're complicated. There's some digital aspects to it. So no, it's not something the town can undertake. And no, the town is probably going to give her the money right now because they've already started doing their budget allocations. And she'd have to go to the capital program committee, and there's no assurance that that's going to be available starting FY25. I don't even know where to go with this now, but I don't agree, but I know Joe has his hand up. He's also involved in historic preservation, like some of us, like Diane and myself and Joe.
Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, it'd be great to know what exactly we're going to be able to spend. I think that would be the first, because we're squabbling about things we don't even know some of it. The other part of it is, I know that Holly's gone to the town and they're saying you should start there, and if not, come back to us. This is a really important project for her and the town to get this right. And so I think she's here because she has reached out to the town and said, come back. Holly does not miss a lot of things. She's a very smart woman. And so I think this is extremely important to the town of Nantucket. Former DPW director got blamed for trying to do the right thing, but just was using the wrong materials and processes. So let's get the information to Holly and the funds so that she can do the right thing, so they can do the scanning, they can do a mapping of all the sidewalks and the right materials, and create a spec list and get all this going now. Because, and I feel for Tom and the group, and I think we should be funding public and be able to expand the pickleball courts and the racquetball and all that fun stuff. But I think there's only so much we can do right now. And I like what Tim was saying. All right, if we do 305,000 and we do this, whatever, I mean, we're talking about, hypotheticals, but I think there's some way to say, to the pickleball courts, like, we hear you, but we only have X amount. And so, but next year we can finalize that and get it going. But it may be something for them to start it, maybe give them a guarantee that maybe next year we can be able to take the other, I'll use the number 405,000 and set that aside for them. But I think that this historical preservation project is extremely important to the town of Nantucket. That streetscape is super important. If you've ever gone down there, no one can walk down there, and I think it needs to be done right. But the information needs to be done correctly and then given the DPW or whatever subcontractor the town hires to do it proper. We've seen what Main Street with the bricks, how there's the bricks, they use the wrong side. They put the wrong side, up. So there is this undulating, light orange to dark orange, where the electric company came down and put pipes back in, I think it's the 90s. So this is where this is important. Let's put something together that Holly can put, the information together to give to the DPW so we can get it correct. And that basically no one ever knew that anything was done, 2-3 years down the road. And that's what I think Holly's trying to do, is save Nantucket and historic preservation. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I think that this discussion has taken us beyond the scope of what we were trying to do today. But I'm going to recognize Linda Williams.
Just for edification for newer members, we have had projects come in that needed an astronomical amount of money, and we've stockpiled it. We gave them 300,000 towards it one year, and then the next year another 300,000 so they can actually get it started. I think that's where we were with the racquetball club also, because they started and had to keep going, and then they went a little bit more, and then we gave them a little bit more. That's not unusual, and just keep that in mind, that we don't have to give them everything, but we can give them some, and I'm willing to entertain that, absolutely. I just looked at that $1 million compared to everything else in here, and I'm going, I can fund everything else without that. So I'm willing, if we got extra money, even if we fund everything else completely without that, we still have another roughly 400,000 to actually give to them. So I think everybody's in pretty good shape here, overall, when you look at it. So I'm willing to go there with a racket club. So I'm fine with that. But we've worked cooperatively with the town from the very beginning. We did the flagpole in Sconset when that got crashed into. We've done the playgrounds. We worked with the town and several other groups to buy the FAA property. I think we did something with Massachusetts out on Pulpus Road. We've worked cooperatively with the town on numerous projects. Probably the single biggest receiver of CPC funding is the town, between the housing efforts and everything else. So we have worked with a public-private partnership with the town and other entities that are working with the town right from the very beginning. So working with them on an historic preservation project is no different than working with them on the jetties or the Tom Nevers playgrounds. This is just a different aspect of the town that needs to be addressed and has not been addressed by the town for ages. So I don't look at this any differently than funding their playground or funding their historic preservation. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I think we've covered what we were meant to cover today. Unless there's something that I've missed, I would ask for a motion to adjourn, and we reconvene on November 14th at 9 o'clock.
I'll make that motion again to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Neville,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eleanor,
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you very much. We will reconvene November 14th, 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Well,
Right.
thanks.
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, everybody,
you.
Thanksgiving. Oh, no, we'll see everybody next week.
did
We're
you-
not
how
at
did she get off the
Thanksgiving yet.
weekend?
Don't push me.
All
I
right.
can't lose another week.
All right. Thanks.